All right, back again. Just learning how to do Facebook Lives. So it's always fun to learn something new. How often do we try to learn a new skill and then go into judgment of ourselves for not getting it right? And I'm going to be joined tonight by a lovely lady, Rachael O'Brien, Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and then she's going to be joining me. Yeah, we never give up. Um, so I'm just going to invite her to join me now. So I've just sent her an invite to join me. All right. Trying
Everywhere
not.
you, everywhere you think you're wrong, you're strong.
That's right. I was just saying talking to myself, saying, okay, I'm not going to go into judgment when you learn a new. Well, I have done Facebook Lives before, but I haven't done one for a while, and it's funny when you forget these things, and then you go into the wrongness of yourself. And where are the tools of access consciousness when you need them?
And the funny thing in this, for me, we're talking about Xmen. This conversation is going to be a conversation about Xmen, and basically, it's like you don't acknowledge that you didn't give up. You don't acknowledge that you kept going. You don't acknowledge that you didn't allow anything to stop you. And so tonight we're going to talk about something called Access Xmen or Xmen. And these are people who are highly aware and came here to bring a different future to life. That's what it's about. And you just brought a different future alive.
That's true. I mean, I was always terrified of talking in public for most of my life, and doing these sorts of lives were definitely something that I avoided at all costs.
Yeah.
Even tonight, before us coming on, I had a bit of a churning stomach, and I was asking questions, and who does this belong to? And it's interesting how we go into the future. That there's no that past, present, or future. You just already go into the future and trying to get a sense of what's going to happen. It's
Yeah. And this is where we just say hello to each other. And this is a superpower that I have that I thought was a wrongness. I will show up no matter what. I will show up no matter what. And I will be here no matter what. Even if I do stupid rubbish stuff, even if I have like a past energy, a past feeling in regard to doing a Facebook Live, or even if I have a past annoyance, it's like it's all awareness. And we are doing a 1 day class on November 27th. If you haven't done a 1 day Xmen class and you are one of these people that are highly sensitive and highly aware, I genuinely don't know how you generate your life. The tools of access consciousness work for me. And this is what really we're talking about, because we're talking about the creation of your life, Brendan, where you go to do a Facebook Live and you can't because you've all these feelings that you like. The Facebook Live is, let's say it's a charger bar, but you've attached all these conclusions, feelings, thoughts to it. And yet a little kid would be like, oh, I'm just saying hello to my friends because I found something that made me happy and I would like to invite you to that. Because this is actually what this life is about. Like for me, I did not have control over my body. I did not have control over my life, you know? And now I actually am in control of my body. I know I'm in control of my body, which is a miracle. You know what I mean?
yeah, and not to be in the wrong. I mean, for a long time for me, there was so much wrongness. Like especially with this, when not getting something right, so-called getting it right, and then going into the wrongness. I'd torture myself for days afterwards.
But where's
Without,
the fun? But where's the
yeah,
fun? Where's the fun when you're trying? I know if I'm trying to get something right, I'm in the wrong universe. If I'm trying to get something right, I will throw my toys out of the pram and go home. You know what I mean? I'll just be like a spoiled little kid, Whereas if I'm like, hang on a second, what am I looking to create here? Like, what is it? Like, why is it? And I say why, but what I mean is, what is it that's bringing us here? What is it that made your courage to keep going greater than your fears? You know what I mean? So, because we must know that we are a contribution. So what can you contribute to the world that you haven't acknowledged? And someone might be watching this today and going, oh man, I wouldn't have ever done that. I would have went away. And maybe today, us having this conversation to someone who's like, me, contribute to the world, me, add my energy to something. But actually, Brendan, this is a much bigger game where we're adding our energy to something called consciousness. And consciousness doesn't judge anything, you know, even if you're a man. You're wrong anyway, you know. So like it's just the way it is in this reality. So it doesn't judge anything, it doesn't reject anything, it doesn't resist anything. It has this space of allowance where it holds you, it hugs you, it cares for you, it provides for you. And to be honest, for me as a highly aware person, all the stuff that you talked about, the feelings, you know, the anxiety, the stress, the fear of anywhere I'm trying to get it right, I've decided I'm absolutely wrong. And really what this Facebook Live is about is what value are you giving yourself? And are you even acknowledging your value or your capacities when you're looking through the reality that's not yours, which is judgment? And now the space shows up.
How does it get any better? You know, it's interesting when it's not yours, how it can just show up and how quickly it can become yours. You know, it's,
oh my Jesus Christ. I mean, oh my, like how quickly it can become yours. I mean, to be honest, I woke up at 40 years of age and I had created a life that was based on, it took massive courage because I had created a life that wasn't based on my point of view or what I had. My life was based on what I was told about the manner in which I should live, the form that it should take, you know. And I was miserable and depressed. And I know now why I was miserable and depressed is I didn't design it myself. You know, I didn't design my life. And now I get to design my life. And have I still things that aren't exactly, you know, the way I would like them to be? Yes, but my life gets greater. How can I be greater today than I was yesterday, you know?
I love that question. Before doing, you know, even coming across the tools of access consciousness, the idea that I was even possibly great, like that I was even a contribution beyond, you know, getting out of the trauma and drama and looking to get out of, you know, the wrongness of me. Before the tools of access, I would have never wake up in the morning and go, who am I today? You know, what grand and glorious adventures am I going to go on? You know, it just wasn't on the radar. But since having the tools, that's changed in so many ways. And I remember doing a Xmen class with you a year ago with Sul and Yasadara, and it just changed so much for me. And I think perhaps even tonight, what brought up is that I'm not fully acknowledging that I'm an Xman, and to come out and say, yes, I am an Xman, and I do have these capabilities with energy, and I am going to own it. Perhaps it's the time.
And when you do a Facebook Live, you're aware of other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions in regard to getting it right. Because this is one of the things that actually kills. It's very severe for Xmen to not acknowledge that they're aware of other people's projections and expectations and separations and judgments. So often we'll tap into, you know, let's say a dating app or Facebook, and we like download wrongness and judgment from everywhere, and then we actually buy it as ours. And then we're like, ugh! But that is actually energy saying, hey, Brendan, hey, Rach, you're off track. You're the space of relaxation. And for me, I have to be honest, it makes me a bit sad, like that you would wake up in the morning, because you just reminded me of what it was like waking up to me. It's like, I'm not even going to ask the question, can I be great? Because have you seen me? I'm fucked up. Someone used to say to me, my brain was wired wrong. My brain is wired wrong because I don't do judgment, which confuses people. And when I do, I'm very aware of it now. So what these tools are about is that I find the most beautiful people in the world that I love. Like, oof. The people that I get to work with and people like me are the most beautiful contribution to bringing a future alive. And we are like a pink rose, and we are like the woods, and we are like the forest. And the rules and the regulations of this reality do not make sense to us. We don't understand. We don't get it. And because we don't get it, we're made wrong instead of educated to be, hang on, Brendan, hang on, Rachel. We haven't got this parent and loving care that the universe is for us until we do, where it's like, hey, you function different. You pick up thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You don't learn the way I don't learn. I can't learn from lines. I'm more of a visual big learner. I have to know the whole picture and the whole part of it, and then I can sense it has to be the big and back the other way for me. And then when I'm creating something, if I'm frustrated, I'm missing information, but nobody told me when I get frustrated, there's nothing wrong. It's I'm missing information. I must ask a question to access my reality. Nobody taught me that me not fitting in was a beautiful gift that I wasn't acknowledging, that I'm part of this oneness and consciousness, and everything has a space of consciousness and form and structure and rules and regulations, and this is the way it's supposed to be, and right and wrong and separation actually kills the beauty of that consciousness.
So if anyone's for people who are watching this in the future, how would they know if they're like an Xmen? And what is an Xmen for someone that's never heard of the term before? What is an Xmen, and how would someone know if potentially they could be one?
Your first language is energy. You're like, this is one of the things that really started to open up for me. I lived in a house, and by the way, my uncle would touch the doorknob, I would pick up whether he was angry or whether there was going to be trouble, or I would pick up, like, if someone was drinking. I grew up in an Irish Catholic family, if there was a fight in the house, alcohol, I would pick up if my grandmother was happy, because the way she would sway her leg and she'd have the water tap running in the kitchen. So for us, what creates massive confusion is communication from words when they don't energetically match the energetics of what is occurring. So first and foremost, we're highly energetic beings. If you have a lot of peace with being with plants, animals, and the earth and the woods and the forest and the trees, and that energy gives you a sense of peace and calm, and you have none of these corrosive monkey mind thinking, judgment, there's something wrong with you. If you're walking in the forest or swimming in the ocean and you haven't got that, that is the sense, that is the space of you, and everything else, 99.9% of your thoughts, feelings, emotions. You're like a giant Sputnik picking up, like standing in a train station, an underground station in London, and all the tubes going by with millions of people, 8 million people go through London per day. And you've got to really recognize that you have a massive capacity to be aware of judgment, but you weren't born from judgment. And your capacity to be aware of judgment is that the train comes in with all its thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And if you use these tools of access consciousness, which is the space of consciousness, the space of the woods, the space of the berries, the trees, the ocean, if you know that you're that space, then you will not be impacted. And this is a work in progress, The turnarounds, though, that I've seen in people using is this mine? And who does this belong to? The turnaround that I've seen with people using one tool, is this mine? Who does this belong to? Return to sender with consciousness attached. And
so just on that one, because I think people watching this may not have any exposure to access before, who does this belong to? How would you, so just walk us through that how would you use that tool?
Yeah. So let's say if I walk into my office building today, okay, or I haven't got one, but if I'm walking into an environment and I'm happy before I go in, I get up, I get showered, I'm off into my day, I'm looking at the trees. Another thing with Xmen, they see the earth in a very different way because they're from the earth, actually, because they came here to bring a different future to life, but we don't even recognize that, because in this reality, we're wrong. So you walk into the office, you were happy a minute ago, and now you're like, ah, okay, do you actually have the consciousness? The consciousness is the presence to recognize I wasn't like that 60 seconds ago. And now I am. Okay, what changed? You know? Because we are massive Sputniks for energy, and we download energy. Actually, Brendan, the Xmen capacity for downloading of energy is one of the most misunderstood capacities, I would say, on our planet. And then you go, who does this belong to? Return to central consciousness attached. Is this mine? No. Okay, return to central consciousness attached. You're returning it to consciousness. And then you walk in and someone says, oh my God, I am so pissed off today over and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, just that tool alone for me, that changed a lot in my life. Recognizing that pretty much everything that I was reacting to wasn't mine, and how much I had bought, really, that I took on as mine, and how much of that created sort of chaos in my, and you're always continually trying to fix problems. So it's an amazing tool. And
thanks for saying this, because you said something that's vital. You said I was reacting to something that wasn't mine, which is welcome to this reality. All everyone does is react, what's going on in our world right now is a complete exhibition and example of that. But Xmen's reality actually isn't to react. Their reality, when you find your reality, when you meet you, it might take a while, you will begin to recognize that you function from this energy called contribution and generosity of spirit. And if you don't react to something when someone's angry, you can just be like, hi. Now, whether they receive it or not is irrelevant, but you be that space. Xmen's reality is the space of the earth. And that's something that I can't go into that fully on this live, because there's a whole process in how your space was collapsed and the points of views of judgment that got you to shrink and compress. So that space, you can start that by just expanding out to the four corners of the room that you're in, tapping into the forest, tapping into the flowers, tapping into the energies of the ocean. And by me even talking about this, if there's a sense of peace opening up in your world, then that's the energetics of nature. I perceive
that.
Yeah, we function from perceiving instead of feeling, which is a huge topic, and if you're very calm when you're around, we have a Rottweiler, and if you're very calm, if you're around horses, Rottweilers, dogs, start to recognize that the energy that they are of no judgment, that they don't reject you no matter what. They're like, hi, that's actually more your reality.
So yeah, just that space and being just able to tap into the earth at any point, any time is such a gift.
It's there for us, and the only time that we do stress is if we're rejecting the space of the earth and we're rejecting the consciousness of the planet, which is always like, hi Brendan, can I contribute to you? You're not wrong. If you have a point of view that you're wrong and I'm looking to contribute to you, you can't receive. Can't receive, Whereas if you're, oh, okay, I have some stuff to learn here. Okay, cool, awesome. We'll always go off and learn anyway, because that's the way we are. Another thing with Xmen, they're always looking to make everything greater. We walk into a building, to an office, and everything will become greater naturally by the presence that we be. It's a natural ability and capacity. If you put this over here and this here, boom, we're always looking at, we have a natural capacity to engage with molecular structure for everything to become greater.
Hmm. So
And we
you've
all,
got your one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, we're talking, someone else just sort of jumped on now, where I'm talking about, you've got a class coming up too, right? The undiscovered possibility.
We have.
And what is that, does anyone need to have any background, are there any prerequisites for that, or can anyone take that class, or?
They do have to have the access bars. Access
Okay.
bars is a 1-day training. Hi, Sarah. It's a 1-day.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jane. Hi. Um, so they do have to have the 1-day training, because when you have this awareness, it has to be incorporated into your physical body. You know, this is where I live, and this is where, you know, the problems that I thought I had to fix were, whereas they weren't mine at all. They were energies that I were picking up. Actually, there are no problems with my body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. Xmen has to be, they function from question. And so the 1-day class, you have a prerequisite of bars. And
Mm-hmm.
this 1-day class, we're splitting into 2 days. If you're on Oz time, is it 12 to 3?
It's a great time. We get you for lunch.
Yeah,
It's not
totally.
often. What time are you getting up? So what time is it?
I'll actually be in San Francisco. I go to San Francisco
Oh,
Monday. Yeah. So
right. I was going to say.
yeah, you're 2 to 3 in the morning. Nah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
But, okay, cool. So you'll be over in the evening there.
Yeah, exactly. It's 5 to 8 in California, in Napa Valley, and and it's a lovely time now too, because there's so much, you know, there's so much beauty going on in Australia at the moment that people aren't recognizing. Of course, there's so many rules and regulations, but one of my greatest friends in the world and a colleague, according to work, but you know, she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, Simone Melissa's, who's the worldwide business coordinator of Access Consciousness. And she was telling me last night that like people are coming together and saying we will not do separation, vaccine or no vaccine. Not one is right, not one is wrong, not one is good, not one is bad. Separation doesn't work for Xmen. It causes a lot of stress in their world. So she's talking about people like setting up businesses. Hey Danielle, setting up businesses, looking to contribute, you know, taking their businesses, if they're running a studio, taking it somewhere else, creating it another way. So there's a lot of, you know, when this level of control is applied, there's a lot of people that go, no, I'm not living like this. Like, this is the day, Brendan, this is the night. Like, this is the moment that we're alive right now. Like, the question is, do you want to live in a world of separation? Like, are you part of creating a world that you don't want to live in? Like, do you want to live in a world of where you're judging yourself? If I'm judging myself, I'm living in a world that I don't want to be in, and yet I'm creating it. You know?
And as X-Men, we don't know how to be in separation, and it's something that really I don't get. And
No.
I just walk down the street and I'll say hello to anyone. I'll have a chat with anyone like they're my best friend. Like, it's sort of, there's not that separation. And through this whole, 2 years, I'd walk outside and forget what was going on. Oh, there's something going on. You
It's so
just
funny.
walk down the street, pretend not even know that it's happening, but it's not really your reality. And for anyone out there that's watching this, in the future as well, and the great thing about the tools, and that the tools of access consciousness, and when you do these classes, and you get access to this new space where you're not at the effect of this reality, and you have a choice, you have more choice, and the tools it's amazing. Every class, I don't think there hasn't been one class that I've done that hasn't contributed in a major way to open that space even further, opens the door to walking into a new possibility. And it excites me what's been created on the planet by us X-Men and people, choosing to consciousness. So this, that just, the possibilities for something different are there. You just have to choose it.
Yeah, and Xmen, like Xmen, have this point of view that they have to fix any problems. Actually, your reality is not fixing problems. Your reality is impossibilities. You don't have to fix anything, you know. Why would you fix something that's not working? Like Xmen's reality is to create something completely different. So what can we be and do different to create a world? I worked with a CEO yesterday and he was asking the question like, what is it that I can be and do different to create an environment and people would like to wish to work in? So yeah, they just open you up to more spaces, more choices. And you know, the big thing that they open you up to, like, is your life worth living today? Like, is having a body valuable to you? Because it wasn't for me, Brendan. It wasn't. It wasn't. I was just surviving, you know, getting through the day, whatever you want to call it, you know. Like, is there something that really requires to change her? Because for me, there is. There is something that requires to change. And I am part of that change. And you are part of this change. And this is where we show up and go, despite all our fears, we have the courage to go, what can we contribute to you? And what contribution can you be to the world that you haven't acknowledged? And that might be, like, I call her unseen heroes. Like Xmen are the unseen heroes. That might be saying hello to someone. I was in a train in Germany and I was just saying hello to the lady who was checking my ticket and saying, how are you today? A couple of weeks ago, and she was like, you're saying hello to me, and because we can hear people's thoughts as well. And I said, but for what reason would I not say hello and acknowledge you? You know, where is the basic caring in saying hello to someone as a contribution to their life? Like, where did we? I'm Irish, and one thing I love about being Irish is we all say, hi, how are you? Like, how are you? How are you today? Are you okay? You know, it's a very caring energy. And what if we resuscitated and resurrected? Like, what if that could be our greatest gift today? To resuscitate and resurrect, saying hello to someone who has a body and acknowledging that they're okay to be here and there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, I love that. It just, if everyone did that, the world would be a different place.
Yeah, it would. It would. It absolutely would. Yeah. So we'll do it.
Yes.
Yeah. And Brendan will put the link in if you would like to come join us. Is it? I think it's 17/18 your date, or the date?
Yes. Today's I think it's 18/19, but I'll put the dates in. Yeah, next Thursday.
18.
Next Thursday.
Oh, and if you have kids, one of the things, if you have kids, ADD, OCD, Asperger's, dyspraxia, autism, so you've got to educate yourself so you can empower these kids. Thank you, Rico. Your beautiful wife. How did you get so lucky?
Yeah.
I just love that lady. Yeah, I mean, come join us. It's empowering. It's educational. And I have 3 Xmen children now, Brendan. They're 28, 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah, and honestly, the acknowledgement of how different we function changed our relationship deeply with each other, and changed, instead of frustration and with each other, we now have a deep respect for how we function and what we require as 3 people, you know, as the 3 of them in their little bodies and their mother in their bodies, not resisting and reacting and rejecting to each other because we deeply cared about each other beyond it, that we can now respect and honor and care for each other and know what we require.
What a gift.
Yeah, access consciousness. For me, consciousness has been undeniable in my life. I was suicidal. I didn't want to be here. I was deeply depressed. I was struggling. I couldn't get out of bed sometimes. And now, 9 years on, to be up every morning at 7 a.m. and to be creating my life, and it keeps getting better. And if you're out there, don't give up. Keep going. You know, forget about what you have to be for anyone else. What about you? Where are you? Where are you not giving you value? And what value would you have to give to yourself?
Thank you, Rachel. I'm so excited. These classes are just they're so much fun. You know, you have fun and you change and you come in, you know, one person and you leave the class with a whole new awareness and so much ease, and life becomes even more and more enjoyable.
It
And
does. It does.
yeah.
And you said something huge, excited. Back to that childlike wonder that we had when we were children, enthusiastic to be alive, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for your courage, showing
Thank
up
you, Rachel.
despite all your fears. I mean, that's huge. How does it get any better than that?
Thank you so much.
See you soon,
Bye
darling.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. See ya. Bye.